All right, well, back with positive notes. And look at you. You got your clipboard and everything. You're all professional and stuff.
I'm trying to be.
That's good. 3-1 right now in favor of the Sarnia Sting over Kingston. Wow, what a hockey game. And I got to say, that's the Sarnia Sting we're used to seeing from previous seasons.
Yes, definitely. I mean, like I was saying earlier, they're not having any issues putting the puck in the back of the net. That's evident today again. 3-1. Hopefully we can continue to add to our score and them not so much.
Yeah, right. We saw Burka in there with his first OHL career goal.
Nice.
Sam Bitton would follow that along with a really beautiful shot. And then, I forgot, who got the last one? Jostling was in there.
Right.
With a little help from Jamison Reese, which is nice to see as well.
There has been some exceptional passing in the offensive zone and leading into the offensive zone. I would say that is basically the strong point of their game so far, those offensive zone passes. Defensive zone, again, I would say they are weaker. I mean, we're still up, so it's looking good, but I've just noticed, I want to say there's a bit more hesitation. They're either trying to make too many passes to get the puck out of the zone, or maybe hesitating a bit too long when they need to have that mindset of, I have the puck now and I need to know where it's going right away.
Well, and speaking of hesitating, let's talk about Jamison Reese being out there. You know, once you come off of a 6-game suspension for strong reasons, right? I mean, everybody is a fan who knows what happened there. Do you think maybe he's a little hesitant? You know, it's kind of like coming back from the injury. Now, we don't want to see that happen again, and certainly he doesn't want to see that happen again. So does that maybe slow him down a little bit? I don't know.
I think that any jitters that he might have had are worked out now by the first period.
Right.
You know, you've got that under your belt, and now it's complete head in the game, ready to go. I've also noticed that McGregor's been a huge asset on the ice, as he always is, but it's so good to see him back.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's always good when you're up, but now we always have that word complacent that comes in when you're leading like this. You know, you've got the insurance going on there right now. And it's really funny, that word complacent, I always thought, because they know you're not supposed to get complacent. We know you don't get complacent, but we're human, and we still got that thing right there. This is not the time for it.
Well, I would say not so much complacency, but it's that thing that teams tend to do, and you realize, you get in a groove, you know, things are going well, and you say, we could lighten up a little bit because we're doing well. You know, we could play down to their level, and when you do that, the game's over. Because they're not coming at it thinking that you're going to step down. They're thinking that they need to step up. So what happens is, if you're stepping down when they're stepping up, they step all over you.
That's right. Well, that's a good way to put it. It's not the way to win hockey games or any game for that matter. Now, the shots on goal right now, Kingston at 12 and we're at 9. I have to say, in the first period, in like the beginning,
there were some scary ones?
Well, no, but I mean in the beginning, first 4 to 5 minutes, they were out shooting us. We were only at like 2 shots on goal.
And I would say that was probably those first 5 minutes or so was when I thought we were the most fumbly in our zone with the puck. Just needing to make those decisions a little bit faster, because when you have that fumbliness, that's when they pick up the puck, and that's when you get a shot from an unexpected area that the tender can't see.
Yeah, that's right. Benjamin Gaudreau.
Okay.
We had a bet going.
On it.
And I was listening really closely when Jonathan Millay was making it up there. It was not Gaudreau.
Did he say Gaudreau?
No, it's Gaudreau.
Okay, Gaudreau.
There we go. And Jonathan's never wrong.
We got to talk about the fight.
Yeah, and I can't pronounce his last name, but I've never gotten that one right, so I'm just not going to attempt.
It's not even so much, it doesn't matter actually what player. I mean, I get the mentality. You know, you want to rally the team, you want to rally the troops and get everybody going. It was the point in the first period that I take issue with. We had possession, clean possession in the offensive zone. Why? Why on earth do you stop that? But admittedly, it was a mutually decided upon fight.
I think there was a whisper before the puck was dropped, and it's like,
for sure,
this is our time. But I know.
You're trying to be a team player by trying to amp everybody up, but at the same time, you want to be a true team player. Let the guys do what they do on the front end, right?
Makes you wonder why.
I think it's just, I want to say it's the testosterone of young boys. I think.
Well, you know.
It's an element in this league. That's just the reality of it. Is there, 16 to 20?
Well, and let's talk about that. We often talk about mindset here on the broadcast, and that's something that does come up. Both Jay Peckham, Jake Chersky that have joined me have said the same thing. So I'm playing hockey. looking to get myself to the next level, whether that's NHL or WHL, wherever that leads to. I got school I got to do. I must make certain level grades.
Right.
I'm not. There's no option there. I must make these level grades, or I lose. And I have to participate in the community. I'm expected to blah, 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 blah.
So
by the way, wouldn't mind being a teenager.
Right.
And then something like that. So there's a different mindset going on out there.
For sure. There's all different sorts of pressures, and I think that those pressures, from a different perspective, fall on everyone who plays the game, right? I mean, when you look at NHL players too, there's tons. I mean, they're in the public spotlight as well, which is not so much a factor in the lives of these guys at this point. I mean, if they did something terribly egregious, I'm sure we would hear about it in the news. I get it. It's an element of the game, and it's probably always going to be an element of the game. And I don't take an issue with the fighting itself. I take an issue of, being the strategic player and saying, we've had words, and you were probably going to throw down, but is this the right time?
Yeah.
And ultimately, if the guy had come at him, well, what are you going to do? You got to defend yourself. Because if you can't just say, oh, wait, hold on, buddy, we can't do
let's do this in the third, minute to go.
And I totally understand that. It's just it was an unfortunate thing to happen at that time.
I do understand what you're saying, because I had a pretty good view up there in the media booth, and I happened to be just staring right at that moment. And it was very obvious that this wasn't just, you didn't just poke me the wrong way. This was like, so by the way, when we get back out there, we're going to do this, right? I think that's what it looked like to me.
One kind of positive to come out of it is that when you have a fight like that, I mean, both guys go to the box, right? So it's not a hindrance to the team necessarily. What we did see was a weird kind of crash into the net earlier on. I believe that took place before the fight.
Yes, that's a good point.
And of course, everyone's going to have their own say.
Didn't like where the pole was for that guy, let me tell you.
Yes, a lot of people talking about that.
Ow!
He's going to feel that. But it was, from my perspective, there might have been a missed call there, or at least they might have taken both. It almost looked as if our Sarnia player had been slewfoot, which led to both guys going into the net.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm biased. I'll admit it.
Maybe a little.
The one thing that was good we got to see out of it was a strong penalty kill, I felt. We really tightened up, and we had that tight 4-man box in our zone, and we didn't really see too many shots on our goalie. I think that was, obviously not the position you want to be in, but at least they handled it well.
Yeah, well, when you talk about that, let's talk, there's a couple of, we always talk about the Sting, of course, but let's talk about the Kingston side of things. There was one call in particular, and there wasn't a call in particular, I should say. So Kingston could probably say the same thing about, hey, how come that didn't happen out there?
There's going to be biases on both sides, right? That's how it's always is.
Let's talk about refereeing for a moment. And I know that's it. It's okay, guys. We're not going to say anything bad out there.
It might just be the hardest position in the arena.
It really is, because, well, you got to have that, I say, rhino skin, right? Bullets have to bounce off. But there's still humans out there. There's cracks in the rhino skin. Yeah. But aside from that, I think that's probably a pre-qualification for being any kind of referee or umpire. I had this conversation with somebody who's very involved in the sports world, and I said, I don't think any referee or umpire wakes up knowing that he or she has to go referee a hockey game and says, I'm really here to mess that team over. I don't think that there's any conspiracy going on.
They only have the two eyes that God or not God, depending on what you believe in, gave them.
Right.
And they can only see from the angle that they have at a given time. Now, that being said, you also, as the referee, it's your responsibility to be in the right place at that right time.
Well, especially at the NHL level, I had another conversation to go, but it's for the same reason that players are not allowed to make mistakes. It's because you're getting paid the big bucks for it.
For sure.
That is your job. Yeah, okay, there's a human error factor involved in there. I get that. There's eyes not in the back of the head.
You've got 4 guys out there.
Well.
You want to hope that between 8 eyes, they get all the angles and they make the right call.
It's tough, I guess, is what we're coming down to. Hey, there's Elmo. Oh, isn't that cute?
Elmo, we should clarify the Halloween hockey game on this Sunday.
Yes, that's right. Sorry, we missed they had the parade of costumes.
The Sting have called up someone we all know from Sesame Street.
Yes, Elmo is now playing for the Sarnia Sting. Wow, there's a show and a half.
I would pay good money to see that.
You know what? Speaking of shows, maybe we should do one. I think it would be cool to try to invite some of the referees from OHL, maybe an NHL, and just do a whole hour show and talk to them about what's it like. They never say anything.
Well, what I think they would want. Okay, my clarification: they would want to say a lot.
Right.
Whether they would is a different story.
Yeah. Well, the story right now is a positive one for the Sarnia Sting in favor of them 3-1 over Kingston. It's always the first period locker room conversations that I'd be curious about. What's happening in the Kingston room right now? And Sarnia Sting, are they having that conversation about complacency right now? What do you think Kingston's talking about?
I think they're going to have a discussion about marking in the neutral zone because a lot of our passes have squeaked by. Granted, we've gotten lucky with some bad passes that made it to our guys, made it to tape. But I'm thinking that for Kingston, they definitely need to tighten up in the neutral zone and eliminate some of those passes. Ultimately, I'm going to say that I don't want to see them do that because I'd like to see the Sting win again. Third in a row would not be too shabby.
And then could we say, no, they need four to be on
for a
four
streak.
for
That's
on a
what
roll.
I'm going with.
Okay, all right. Melissa Kelly has spoken. Must be 4 in a row. Well, we'll find out coming up here in a few minutes. And I do have to say that about the 3 goals that we've gotten, well played, well organized, like textbook.
It's
they
solid
earned those goals.
Offensive zone passes that we've seen. I think they did a really good job with that in the first period.
Yeah, very good. All right. We're going to, who's out there? Oh, Gail's out there. Hello, Gail. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you do make your comments here, following us along on the Facebook page. I'll respond to them for sure, and during the live broadcast, we'll be happy to talk to you. Ask your questions about this thing. Maybe we can find out for you. Don't forget, we'll be back here again for the next intermission, and I'll be live post-game as well. One of the coaches or players, you never know what's going to happen there. Melissa Kelly will join me again for our next intermission. Thanks, everybody. 3-1 right now for the Sarnia Sting over Kingston. We'll be back next time for the show live on location. I'm David Burrows and my friend Melissa Kelly. We will talk to you soon.